Law of Employment. The duties of an employer towards his employee.
Section 12 of Employment Act 1955.
You are fired from this company because I don't like you.
Hey! How dare you talk like that in my office? By attempting to fire staff member at your will. You have abused your authority. Your action will embarrass the company because they can sue you for your action for unfair dismissal because you were dismissed without excuse and without the minimum notice. Employers who are moral and professional go above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that terminations are handled with dignity, communicate openly and offer support to impacted workers. Unfair or arbitrary terminations not only breach the act but also cast doubt on the professionalism and moral character of the employer. Since I don't need a manager like you in my organization, I will give you 4 weeks' notice before ending your contract so you may find another one.
Well, no.
Section 37 of Employment Act 1955.
Hey Molly, you look sad. What happened?
I sat because our manager said I would not receiving my maternity leave and allowance. My stomach had been growing lately, so I need the maternity leave to rest at home and the allowance for my future baby.
Oh really? That our manager said, but I think you can get the maternity leave and allowance because our colleagues get it also. I think you should go and ask her.
OMG, I forgot about her. I am gonna go and ask her. Hey Amanda, can we talk for a minute?
Yes, let me end this phone call first. Okay, so Molly, what is it you want to talk about with me?
I heard you got you maternity leave and maternity allowance when you pregnant last year, right? How you got I cause our manager said I can't get it.
OMG, seriously, our manager said that to you? He can said that to you because you deserve the maternity leave and allowance when working in this company. Under Section 37 of Employment Act 1955, the employer should give every female employee maternity leave of 98 days in respect of each confinement. In Malaysia, employees eligible receive a maternity allowance during their maternity leave that is equal to their regular monthly salary. You also met the criteria to get the maternity leave, such as you already have been employed for at least 90 days in the 9 months before your confinement.
Wow, I never heard about the law. Can you tell me more about it?
Yes, of course. Actually, you just need to notify our manager your expected confinement and maternity leave start date at least 60 days in advance. Do you already do that?
Yes, I just told him in advance because I want the maternity leave, but he don't allow me to get my maternity leave.
What, he can do that to you because that the benefit you deserve because you working in this company.
I know, right? By the way, can I return to work during my maternity leave?
Yes, you can return to work during your maternity leave, but only if you have our employer consent and a registered medical practitioner certifies them fit to return.
I see, thanks for your explanation, but can you follow me and talk about this in front of our manager because I really need the maternity leave.
Yes, of course, I will follow you to talk about this with our manager. By upholding the employer's dedication to employee well-being, offering these benefits demonstrates professionalism. Maternity leave policies, for instance, guarantee that female workers receive assistance during their pregnancies and deliveries, fostering for quality and moral behavior in the workplace. In addition to violating the Act, not offering these benefits compromises the moral obligation to look out for the welfare of employees.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for helping and explain to me.
It is my pleasure to help you to get your right.
The duties of employee toward employer.
Section 15 of Employment Law. Hello, City. I know we've been talking a lot about the rules at work, but I wanted to take a moment to make sure we're on the same page about the duties I have towards you as your employer. It's not just about paying salaries or giving instructions. As an employer, I also have a duty of care toward your safety and well-being.
I appreciate that, Ahmed. Can you tell me a bit more about what that means in practice?
Of course. Under Section 15 of the Employment Act 1955, I'm required to provide a safe working environment. This means I have to ensure that the workplace is free from risks that could harm your health or safety. It includes things like maintaining clean and hazard-free areas and providing proper ventilation.
That makes sense. So it's just about giving us equipment but also about ensuring that the environment is safe in the first place?
Exactly. It's about taking proactive steps to avoid accidents. For instance, under Sections 15, I also need to ensure that you have access to protective equipment where necessary, like safety gloves or helmets, and that all safety protocols are in place to protect your health. It's about preventing incidents, not just responding to them.
Section 16 of Employment Law.
What about loyalty? Are there specific duties about confidentiality and company interests?
Yes, FARA. Under Section 60 of the Employment Act 1955, you must act in the company's best interests. This includes keeping sensitive information confidential and not sharing it with.
So, if I share confidential data outside the company, that would be a breach of my contract?
Exactly, it's just not an ethical issue but also a legal one. Breaching confidentially could result in serious consequences. The Employment 1955 helps protect both your right and the company's interest.
Understood. I'll make sure to keep everything confidential. So, Alex, how's everything going with your new role? Settling in well?
Yeah, it's been good so far, Sarah. But, I've been thinking. There's so much to keep track of, policies, guidelines, and all those workplace rules. How do we know if we're following everything correctly?
Great question. Obeying workplace rules isn't just about doing the job, it's about understanding and respecting the policies in place. In fact, it's part of your responsibility as an employee under employment law.
I see. But is it really that important? I mean, I just want to do my job well. Why do I need to worry about all these rules?
Well, in Malaysia, the Employment Act of 1955 is pretty clear. It outlines the rights and responsibilities of both employers and employees. For instance, as an employee, you're expected to adhere to company policies, maintain ethical behavior, and follow workplace rules.
Okay, so are there any specific rules I should be especially careful about?
Definitely. Things like punctuality, confidentiality, and even how you treat your colleagues. The company's code of conduct will usually include things like workplace behavior, safety procedures, and handling confidential information. Not following those could lead to disciplinary action.
Disciplinary action? What does that look like, exactly?
Well, the company has the right to take action if an employee doesn't follow the rules. Under Section 69 of the Employment Act, if an employee engages in misconduct, the employer has the right to dismiss them after conducting a fair inquiry.
Wait, Section 69? So, if I break a rule, I could be dismissed just like that?
Not just like that, Alex. Section 69 requires that the dismissal must be justified. Before any action is taken, the employer must conduct an inquiry to determine if the employee's misconduct is serious enough for termination. This means a fair process where you have a chance to defend.
So, if I, for example, share confidential company info, could I be dismissed under Section 69?
Yes, exactly. If your actions are considered gross misconduct, like breaching confidentiality or dishonesty, Section 69 allows for immediate dismissal after the inquiry. But again, it's about fairness. Your employer must prove that your actions were serious enough to warrant termination.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that serious. So, what are some examples of misconduct that could lead to dismissal?
Misconduct includes things like insubordination, theft, fraud, sexual harassment, or breaching safety protocols. Essentially, anything that disrupts the workplace or violates the trust between employer and employee.
I guess it really is important to follow the rules and be ethical. But how does this apply to more minor mistakes?
For less severe mistakes, like being late or not following some minor guidelines, the employer might issue warnings first. Section 69 focuses on serious misconduct, but it's still important to follow the rules to avoid even small problems from escalating.
Thanks for explaining, Sarah. I'll definitely make sure I go over the employee handbook again and stay aware of the rules.
No problem, Alex. Remember, following workplace rules and acting ethically is in everyone's best interest. If you're ever in doubt, you can always come to HR for clarification.